We survived episode 33, and we're back with episode 34 of ICOPOD. Bob Conley Jr. and my brother to the end, Austin Skinner.
You
What's
could
up, Austin?
say, Bob, and I'm cutting you off. We're already starting this week. You could say that I'm your perfect friend, yeah.
Wow.
That's right.
Be a man, Austin. Don't be scared.
Don't run away from your feelings.
Well, this has got to an emotional start. We survived last week's episode, which may have been one of the worst editions of Monday Night Raw. Austin's fallen all out of love with Lex Luger. He's pretty devastated about it.
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close.
Lex Luger doesn't know what country he's in.
He's in the UFA.
UFA.
Not sure what that is yet. We're still kind of trying to figure that out, but we can confirm, as far as we can tell, that indeed last week during the contract signing, Lex made reference to Yokozuna on the plane back to Tokyo, hearing the ringing of his ears of something that starts with a U, ends with an A, middle letter F. UFA.
UFA.
Yeah. His lips say F.
Now, you may be wondering, there's no way that happened. Well, here's the thing, okay? I had Austin go back to the video after last week's episode. He watched it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and each time he died of laughter because he says F.
It's F. It's F.
And I was like, Austin, look at his lips to make sure. Because like S and F, 2 different lip motions.
Yeah.
And when he did that, Austin was like, it's for sure F.
Yes.
So UFA.
Yeah.
UFA.
And all I'm thinking is F, because from the previews we heard from Vince last week, something tells me I'm going to like this week either.
Yeah, so this is going to be another potentially brutal show to get through, but hopefully through our humor, we'll be able to ignore the abuse.
Right.
That we're going to suffer through.
Right.
Now, you can tell us about any kind of abuse that you're going through. Hopefully not anything domesticated, but rather through the watch along, I guess you could say, we're doing with Raw. So if you're feeling that you're being abused with your eyesight,
After last week, especially.
Yes. But maybe you didn't like that Repo Man match from March 8th of 1993 or whenever the hell he was on the show. And you want to talk about it. Anything that we've seen in 93, and you want to share your opinions, you're more than welcome to, whether it be on the ICOPod page on Facebook or ICOpodcast@gmail.com. Send it along to us, and we'll read them on the air as we get them in.
Yeah.
Should we delay the inevitable, or should we just get right into it?
I'm trying to stall a little bit longer, just so we can hopefully avoid any rough patches. That's why I'm saying stuff really slow, and I like that you're pretending to listen to what I'm saying.
We gotta treat this like a Band-Aid, man. Just rip it off, and we're good.
All right, well,
So,
let's get right into it.
We should talk like, okay, good. Oh, suplex, okay, bye.
You're listening to ICOPOD, you gotta hear it. That's it.
Right?
Goodbye.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's how it should go. People will load it up and be like, why is this episode only 6 minutes long? And they're going to come into it. Bad match.
Or it'll be a fucking minute 30 long because it's all in fast forward thanks to YouTube shenanigans.
I'm telling you right now, if any of this happens in the next 2 episodes, I'm not redoing it. And we'll just be like, listen, August 9th, August 16th, bad shows. Moving on.
Fuck.
We've done it once. I ain't doing it again.
All
right, so let's get right into it. Episode 34, Observer Notes. Not a lot going on here. Mr. Hughes recently suffered an injury when his glasses broke off and sliced his face. But he didn't miss any dates.
Oh, good. He's a trooper.
When I read that, I was like, I'm not surprised that his face got sliced up from his fucking glasses.
You know, because you're not supposed to wear fucking glasses while you wrestle.
You would think.
This isn't a video game where you can wear a fucking hat, glasses, a vest, and necklaces.
Right.
All while wrestling.
And have nothing happen.
And they're fine.
Yeah. Realistically, every time he wrestles, like people should want to punch his glasses into his eyes. He should be blind.
Well, yeah, right. What is he, like Cyclops of the X-Men? Like, why does he have to wear... They're inside. They're indoors.
Maybe the lights, maybe it's a sensitivity to lights.
He gets like migraine, so he has to wear like shaded glasses.
Maybe that's why he always has a frown. Oh, I got a headache again. These damn lights.
Right. And it's obvious he doesn't like flowers. Right. So he's sensitive to smell of flowers, light. It's like a handicap match.
Yeah, for the most part.
It's bullshit.
The August 9th edition of Raw, which was last week, and it featured the contract signing between Lex Luger, made in the UFA, and Yokozuna, got a whopping 3.4 rating.
Holy shit.
I think that's the highest rating we've seen to this point, correct?
You gotta be kidding me.
3.4.
For what?
Maybe for the contract signing.
There's no way that contract signing drew that much of a difference.
Might have, man.
You got to be kidding me.
No.
Holy crap.
And the funny thing is my earbud here ripped out of my ear and I'm probably bleeding profusely. So like you get this jump in viewership, but at the end of it, I mean, are people going to want to watch next week?
No.
Right. So it's like a failed, like, yeah, we got a great, boost in the ratings, but what's going to happen next week? So I think this week's episode and what the rating is should be an indicator maybe of where we're really going here.
Yeah.
Speaking of where we are going into the future, the idea for Survivor Series is to have Lex Luger lead a team against another team led by Yokozuna and Ludwig Borga.
Oh, fucking A. No.
So
no.
That will be the general idea. So I'm assuming it's like a 4-on-4. So, Luger will have 3 other guys, and then Yokozuna and Borga will have 2 other guys.
All right, here, let's do this. Yeah. Give me your ideal Survivor Series teams for 93.
For the main event, like they're probably doing here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd go Luger.
Lawler.
Okay, no. Let's see.
What?
For Survivor Series?
All right, we're going to have different lists then because I'm going to go after you.
Wait a minute. For Luger's team, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Why would you have Lawler team with Luger?
They're 2 main heels.
Luger's a babyface.
Oh, fuck.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what am I talking about?
He just turned into like the biggest babyface in the company.
It's these episodes, I'm telling you, man. They're just throwing me all off.
Okay, so we got the projected number 1 babyface, Lex Luger. Who do you want to have a team with him? Jerry Lawler.
No, that's not what I meant.
By the sounds of it, that's exactly what you meant.
All right, listen. I'll give you my teams because you're being a dick about it.
Okay, go ahead.
My face team. You got Brett.
Right.
You got Luger.
Mm-hmm.
You got 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Mm-hmm.
You got Razor Ramon.
Okay.
Heel team. You got Lawler. You got Yoko. You got Ted DiBiase. And last but not least, Kimchi. Fuck you.
Oh my God. Kimchi.
No. Who do you think I would have as the actual 4th guy?
So you're doing Yoko, Lawler, DiBiase. Who has to be another heel? Sean?
Yeah, I think I'd throw Sean in there.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was thinking like I'd go Luger, Brett, Ramon, Savage.
Oh.
And then the heel would be Yoko, Lawler.
Doink?
No, I don't know if I'd do Doink.
Yoko
Lawler. I wouldn't want to do DiBiase. Bigelow.
Oh.
I
That's
could
a
do
stacked
Bigelow.
team. Holy shit.
And
Sean, would you do Sean or no?
I mean, I could, but I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to just look through a list here real quick and see if I can do anything. I mean, I guess you could just do Sean because he's like the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
So
now if Sean's on one side,
or you could just do Adam Bomb.
Oh, I'd be down for that.
If you want to elevate him.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
So maybe I would do that. Yoko, Lawler, Bigelow, Bomb against Brett, Ramon, Luger, Savage.
Shit, that's some stacked teams.
Yeah.
I wonder though if you have Sean on the heel team, do you have to have Perfect on the face team?
No.
Probably makes sense.
No, I don't think you need to.
All right, fair enough.
Because you could have Perfect.
Maybe he takes on Diesel,
like in a singles match or something.
Yeah, in Survivor Series.
Yeah, or like the secondary team, he'll be the lead on that one.
Right.
So like Perfect could lead a team, like Diesel could lead a team, type of thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Although I'm surprised neither one of us did Undertaker.
I don't like when he's on Survivor Series teams
because you feel like he can't lose, right?
Not only that, why is the dead man tagging with Ted DiBiase?
Yeah.
Right. Bad example because they do have a history, but why is the dead man tagging with, whatever?
Lex Luger.
Right. Or whatever.
Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I think I would do that. And I think I would, the way to kind of maybe get Adam Bomb to that level is, kind of maybe take out Savage.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
So, and I think you can insert Bigelow in there pretty easily as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
With the Brett connection and stuff like that. So,
that's
what I think I would have done. But of course, I doubt they'll still do that. Now, the house show notes here. I have quite a few house shows. By quite a few, I believe it's 4. But they're not all WWF. So we'll experiment with some different things here. The first 2, though, will be WWF shows. And there was a show in Providence, Rhode Island on August 12th, 1993. Don't know if you heard that, but that was not my body. That was a motorcycle that revved its engine.
It was heading to the show.
Yeah. They heard Providence. Okay. We're on the way. 1, 2, 3 Kid took on the Brooklyn Brawler. Head Shrinkers met Men on a Mission. The Undertaker surprisingly took on Mr. Hughes. WWF Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels defended against Razor Ramon. Bastion Booger took on Tito Santana. Randy Savage continued his singles matches with Doink the Clown. WWF Tag Team Champions, the Steiner Brothers, defended against Bam Bam Bigelow and WWF World Champion Yokozuna in the main event.
Wow. That's a pretty strong card.
I would say so, yeah.
The main event's really weird.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Bigelow to team with Yoko.
No.
So it makes me wonder if that they didn't have a worthwhile. Well, not that. Like they didn't have like a worthwhile mid-card team to face the Steiners,
right?
Or maybe they didn't have like a strong enough main event,
right?
To have that, but.
Yeah,
it's an intriguing matchup. I feel like that would be a pretty good tag match.
Yeah, I do too. I think it would be kind of a interesting sight to see Bam Bam and Yoko in the same corner, like 2 giant guys versus the Steiners.
Yeah.
Is somebody taking the Frankensteiner?
If anybody were to, it had to be Bigelow.
I was going to say, because otherwise you got to do like the Bulldog off the top for the finish.
Yeah.
If there even is one, who knows? Probably not.
No. Well, I mean, it tells me the finish. If you want me to tell you what it was.
Yeah, what was it?
Rick pinned Bigelow with a roll-up after Fuji
Oh,
accidentally hit Bigelow with the Japanese flag.
Yeah, shit. Well, there you go.
So they kind of do like a bullshit.
Yeah, there you go.
The other show took place on August 13th, 1993 at Madison Square Garden, and it drew 13,000 fans. Now, the original lineup for this card included Marty Janetty against Doink, Bret Hart against Yokozuna, and WWF Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels against Mr. Perfect inside of a steel cage. The actual card is the following. Owen Hart taking on Blake Beverly, which would be Blake's final MSG appearance. 1-2-3 Kid taking on Doink the Clown. This would be the 1-2-3 Kid's MSG debut. The Smoking Guns battling the Head Shrinkers. Jerry Lawler battled Randy Savage. WWF World Champion Yokozuna defended against Bret Hart inside of his steel cage. Bastion Booger took on the Brooklyn Brawler. And in the main event, WWF Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels, Diesel, and Bam Bam Bigelow took on Mr. Perfect, Marty Janetty, and Tatanka in an elimination match.
That sounds like a pretty decent show, too, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe a little weak for a Madison Square Garden show.
Well, you got to think the 6-man tag elimination probably takes away a couple matches there. With 6 guys in one match. So.
Right. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd probably be pretty interested in seeing that match.
Yeah. And that would be Diesel's first time in the ring.
Right.
For WWF.
Right. I'd be interested in the cage match as well. Yeah, pretty, especially compared to last week's house show notes.
Yeah.
2 pretty strong shows here.
Yeah, I believe I've reviewed this show. Actually, I know I've reviewed this show for Wrestling Recaps and then WrestlingRecaps.com. And the cage match between Yokozuna and Bret Hart was actually very good.
Really?
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. So, yeah,
I think pass that my way at some point, Bob.
Yeah, I can probably find a way to get to you. But yeah, needless to say, I both those shows, the Providence and MSG shows, I think I would check those out.
Okay.
So the other 2 shows are not WWF sanctioned shows. Instead, they are from 2 promotions that the WWF is currently working with. Now, you may be thinking, what companies are that? Well, it would be the USWA and Smoky Mountain Wrestling. The first one is Smoky Mountain Wrestling. They held Fire on the Mountain, which would be a super card of sorts for them, one of their bigger events. Took place on August 14th, 1993, and their show was the following. Jimmy Del Rey of the Heavenly Bodies taking on Steve Armstrong. Dirty White Boy Tony Anthony battling the Mongolian Stomper. The Big Boss Man taking on Kevin Sullivan. Chris Candido taking on Tim Horner. Brian Lee battling Tracy Smothers in a coal miner's glove match. Now, I believe that was for the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Championship, which Brian Lee held. And in the main event, Bob Armstrong, Scott Armstrong, Steve Armstrong, Ricky Morton, and Robert Gibson took on Jim Cornette, Ron and Don Harris, Jimmy Del Rey, and Tom Pritchard in a steel cage match.
So everybody did double duty, basically?
Yeah, I believe, I want to say that the earlier matches kind of determined like the order of the cage match. I think that was the case. I think the Jimmy Del Rey, Steve Armstrong match was probably like who would enter the cage last or whatever, you know?
Gotcha.
That would be it. I think that's the only double duty though.
I can't say that I'd go out of my way to watch that show.
Really?
Yeah.
I would go to it.
What's your selling point, Bob?
The cage match for sure. And I guess, I mean, I have a little bit of a knowledge of what was going on at the time for wrestling. So the Brian Lee, Tracy Smothers feud on TV was pretty entertaining.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, those 2 for sure. Chris Candido and Tim Horner could probably have a decent match. I don't really have much interest in like Boss Man Sullivan or anything.
Right.
Like, only in Stomper sucks. So that would be probably pretty brutal.
Well, it's funny too. So as you were going through the card here, just as a casual fan, because again, I have very, very little Smoky Mountain knowledge.
I think one of these days we're going to do a watch along on Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
We could. We definitely could. I was just kind of listening for some names, and really the names I heard I wasn't really impressed with. So for that case alone, and for the sense of I don't know the stories, right. I'd probably be skipping it.
All right. That's the first one we disagree on. The last one is a USWA show that took place in Memphis, Tennessee at the Mid-South Coliseum on August 16th, 1993, which would be the same day as this live edition of Monday Night Raw. And it drew 1,850 fans. The card was the following: Mustafa Ali taking on Randy Rocket, Tony Falk against Colin Scott, Ken Wayne and Danny Davis, who were previously known as the Nightmares, taking on Tony Falk and Wolfie D, the Rock and Roll Phantom taking on Scott Taylor, USWA Southern Champion the Vampire Warrior defending against Super Mario, the Dog Catchers taking on the Moondogs for the USWA Tag Team Championships, which were held by the Moondogs, Brian Christopher and Tony Adams taking on Chris Adams and Miss Texas, and in the main event, Jerry Lawler teaming up with Jeff Jarrett to take on Bret and Owen Hart.
Okay. Most of the people you said sound made up. Although
the Rock and Roll Phantom doesn't sound real to you?
No, not at all. Although is the Vampire Warrior Gangrel?
Correct.
Okay. I think as a whole, I would definitely be skipping this show. But I'll tell you what, the main event sounds pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Jerry
that seems
Lawler and Jeff Jarrett against both the Hearts. Like, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah. That would appear to be the main draw here. And I want to point out, though, that the Brian Christopher, Tony Adams against Chris Adams, Miss Texas. Now, Miss Texas would be known as Jacqueline.
Oh, okay.
And I believe the storyline there was that Brian Christopher had an affair with Tony Adams, who is Chris Adams' wife. And that would cause some rift there. Now, of course, I'm not sure yet because I've only been watching 1986 CWA, which would go on to be USWA. So by the time I get to 1993, I'll let you know. But on this podcast, by the time that happens, we'll probably be like the year 2000. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, well, you know what? Now that you've kind of explained that a little bit, I might be interested in seeing that because I know Chris Adams is like a solid technical guy.
I think Chris Adams is one of the most underrated workers.
I would say so.
That we've seen in wrestling.
Yeah, I would say so.
So yeah, I think the final, like the mixed tag that I mentioned, and then the final tag team match.
Yeah,
for sure, the main draws for this. It has to be
right.
This is also really at the peak of when there was the WWF versus USWA storyline. Mm-hmm. So I'll just give you a description here of the main event of what happened here. So Bret and Owen defeated Jerry Lawler and Jeff Jarrett after nearly 21 minutes of action.
Wow.
When Bret pinned Lawler. Now, before I continue, and I think we've mentioned it before, Jerry Lawler is playing a face character in Memphis, and on television, he's playing a heel. Mm-hmm. So just to give you context here. He pinned Lawler after hitting him with a foreign object handed to him by Paul Neighbors, who was at ringside with Bret and Owen. I believe he was a former referee. Behind the referee's back, moments after Lawler had hit a pile driver on Owen. Now, after the match, Bret cut a promo at ringside saying that he was the real king and Owen was the Prince of Darkness.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to give you an idea there. I believe that this working agreement continues on until November, and that's only because something majorly bad happens, which we'll get to at that point in time. But needless to say,
I know.
We'll probably spend some decent amount of time on that. So needless to say, you would not go to Smoky Mountain, nor would you go to USWA.
No, probably not. I mean, even though I think, because even on WWF TV, have they really made too much of a point to connect the dots between Bret and Owen very much? I don't think they have.
No, I mean, when they did the Jerry Lawler Owen Hart match on Wrestling Challenge, I think it was like briefly noted.
Right.
You know,
But they really haven't
there's a family.
explored much. Like they haven't tagged.
No.
Or anything like that. So I think that's that's definitely a draw point, especially with the heat that feud has on TV. But even that's not enough to come get me to buy a ticket, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. I would probably skip the USWA show, although the final two matches were probably pretty heated.
Yeah.
And probably a pretty good atmosphere. I just think overall, though, it wouldn't be strong enough. But I would go to that Smoky Mountain Wrestling show.
Right.
Moving on, syndicated notes. There's nothing going on in syndication as we get closer to SummerSlam. So that brings us now to the August 16th edition of Monday Night Raw. We are live from Poughkeepsie, New York. And we start off with a match.
Mm-hmm.
That opening contest is the 1-2-3 Kid taking on $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, and you know what? The first thing I noticed was a couple things. I noticed how much the presentation looked better now that they were out of that friggin' Alexandria Bay arena. Like I took good presentation for granted before that. So I did notice that. And then I noticed that they didn't throw to commentary or anything here.
We didn't even get like a Raw opening video.
Nothing. Right into the first match. So I was appreciating that a little bit. Hopefully that means even though all the BS that they announced for this show, we're still going to get some decent action out of it. We'll see.
Yeah, we can only hope. Footage from 2 weeks ago when 1-2-3 Kid stole a victory from DiBiase is shown before the match even starts. Kid takes a few moments before getting into the ring, and once he gets into the ring, he's quickly attacked by DiBiase, who strikes in the corner. DiBiase chokes Kid over the top rope, followed by a knee lift to the midsection, causing Kid to roll to the floor. At this point, Razor Ramon calls into the show during the match, and Ramon puts over Kid for being able to do things that people have never seen before. And he says that Kid has a few surprises for DiBiase. Ramon gave Kid some advice, and he just requested that he leave him just a little piece of DiBiase for SummerSlam. DiBiase.
Razor, he ends the phone call with basically saying that the agreement between him and 1-2-3 Kid was, like Bob said, that he leave a little piece of the rich mang left for Razor to get his hands on at SummerSlam. Also at this time too, Bobby threw out the line of hopefully this match is over by 9:30 because of course that was 1-2-3 Kid's curfew. Which again, kind of playing into his very young appearance, which again, he is very young. And up until this point, I noticed, and I don't know, maybe it was just the aggression level, but I feel like Ted was kind of potatoing 1-2-3 Kid a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that, Bob.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, there was a lot of stiff shots. Even like the first shot when Kid actually ends up getting in the ring to start the match, Ted runs over and like levels him.
Oh, well, yeah, he kind of laid into the first one.
Yeah. So I feel like either Ted's being a little bit more aggressive or he's just portraying it that way, but it's coming off pretty good.
Yeah, I think portraying the anger, probably in frustration, losing to 1-2-3 Kid. I also vaguely remember at the end of the conversation with Ramon, is Heenan like, I bet that was collect.
Yeah.
Something like that. And Ramon's like, what? And then they hang up on him.
Yeah, and Vince is like, I doubt that very much.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. DiBiase kept complete control of the match until Kid comes off the ropes with an awkward-looking head scissors. They seem to kind of cover that on commentary. Like, oh, head scissors. It didn't really look like one.
Yeah, it was like a makeshift. He like kind of tried to turn it into a head scissors, but it looked really weird.
Yeah. Kid follows up with a couple of drop kicks for a 2 count. DiBiase drops Kid with an elbow strike in the corner and then continues on with some stomps. DiBiase misses a shoulder strike in the corner, and Kid comes off the top rope with a crossbody for a 2 count. Kid goes to the top again, but this time he gets shoved off by IRS and is worked over by Money Incorporated. Naturally, that means the bell has sounded and that 1-2-3 Kid has won by disqualification. He gets worked over, like I mentioned, by Money Incorporated until the WWF Tag Team Champions Steiner Brothers make their way down to the ring, and make the save.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent match leading up to it. 1-2-3 kid can take a hell of an ass beating. Really believable. You really feel for him. You want him to win as the underdog. I thought the finish was kind of contrived because he hits the one crossbody perfect. And then he goes up. He's like, yeah, you want to see it again? So you know something's going to happen. Cue IRS, running down and pushing him off the top. The save for me was kind of weird. With Rick and Scott running down, they dropped Money Inc. with ease, first of all. Yeah. And then Money Inc. was kind of led to the back by officials as Steiner stood tall in the ring. I don't know. I almost wish that they just let Money Inc. beat down 1-2-3 Kid for a minute. And then they didn't do a save. I don't know.
I think I would have rather see Kid suffer a spike pile driver and then the Steiner Brothers come out or something.
Yeah, well, because
it'd get more heat on Money Incorporated if they did that.
Exactly. I feel like maybe that was it too, that they came out too early or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird little spot there. But for an opening match, let's compare this to last week's. No comparison,
yeah,
even with the hiccups. Fucking 10 times better. Yeah. So I'll take it. I thought the phone call with Razor was pretty funny. Especially because, again, every time somebody phones in, I just think of Duggan when he was calling in. So that was enjoyable. But yeah, I think they're at least there's progression. They're progressing. It's a story.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to me, the match wasn't anything overly special.
No.
But the DQ finish kind of sets up an issue potentially between 1-2-3 and IRS.
Yeah, maybe.
Involved. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
And obviously advances the Money Incorporated Steiner Brothers as well. So that feud must always continue.
No.
We got a cage match coming, brother. It has to. Vince McMahon, we go to commentary where Vince McMahon, Bobby Heenan, and Randy Savage promote the remainder of the program. Heenan picks Booger. Haha, get it. Picks Booger to beat Janetty tonight. Savage says he has a surprise that just keeps giving and giving. And we see a replay of IRS shoving Kid off the top rope. There is an ad for the WWF SummerSlam Spectacular.
Same one from last week.
Yep, same match as WWF World Champion Yokozuna against Jim Duggan. And then the WWF Tag Team Champion Steiner Brothers defending against Money Incorporated inside of a steel cage. That takes place this Sunday. So look forward to that. The second match of the evening is the Head Shrinkers taking on Mike Corey and Dave Moraldo.
Oh boy.
So similar to a previous squash match, I believe it was PJ Walker was involved in that one.
Yeah.
One of the enhancement guys is laid out and he stays on the apron the entire match and doesn't move. So it's definitely part of an angle or part of the gimmick here that they murder guys and they just lay there.
Right. And here's what did it this time. Samu hit a decapitating sidekick on this fucking guy. It was through his jaw. So you could easily believe that knocked him out fucking cold.
Well, it was kind of funny because I think Fatu goes over to him and he nudges him.
Yeah, he pushes him over to the apron, doesn't he?
Well, I mean, he's on the apron and he's nudging him to see if he's alive.
Oh no!
And the guy doesn't even acknowledge it. He's just he's knocked out.
Right.
Later on here, I believe it's Moraldo. He gets driven down onto the mat face first, and then Samu drops him over the top rope. Fatu comes off the top and wins the match with a big splash. I like the Head Shrinkers way more, like I've said numerous times, than I ever anticipated during this project. And I have it as written. Just give these guys a damn title match already.
Yeah. Well, even something as simple as Samu doing the stun gun over the top rope. Fatu was on the outside and pulled the guy's head down with it.
Yeah.
And it just made it look, 10 times worse.
Well, I think they did that at WrestleMania 9 when they did it to Scott and he flipped over the top rope or whatever. Yeah. And it was just oh my God. It just made it look incredible.
Right. Big fan. They had new gear on tonight. It was like so they're black tights, regular. They came out with black and yellow little like coverings, and then they had yellow logos on the side of their tights. So kind of a really cool black and yellow look here. Definitely new tights that we haven't seen before. They're getting some shine on Raw, and they're getting the kind of squash matches that the Steiners were getting to enjoy for a little while. Not quite as dynamic, but pretty damn close, especially with these little knockout angles that they've been doing. That kick, I'm telling you, that was better than any Shawn Michaels super kick I've ever seen. Fucking devastating from Samu.
Well, I think Samu and Fatu have definitely some of the best savant kicks.
Oh, for sure.
In the company. And like, especially Fatu, like continue on when he's in the company like 7 years from now.
Yeah.
Still delivers it really, really well. Yeah. And like he at that point he's gained like 120 pounds or whatever.
Right. And can still throw a fucking savant kick.
Yeah.
But
that's an underrated move for him.
Right, for sure. For sure. Yeah, domination here. Awesome squash match. I liked it a lot. And like you said, I'm ready for these guys to stop being overlooked. You know?
Yeah.
Look at how far they've come from the match with the Nasty Boys.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they were like hitting each other with mustard.
Yeah. Look at how far they've come.
Yeah.
So
that's a really good point. Coming out of that, we go to the 1993 SummerSlam report with Mean Gene. We get a rundown of matches here. It's WWF World Champion Yokozuna defending against Lex Luger. Remember, it's Luger's only chance at the title, and he's told us numerous times he only needs one shot. So he's going to go out there and he's going to bring back the belt to the UFA. Bret Hart taking on Jerry Lawler. Undertaker against Giant Gonzalez in a rest in peace match with which Undertaker is the only one that knows the rules.
Good thing.
You know, at least somebody knows what's going on. WWF Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels will defend against Mr. Perfect. And in a newly announced match, Ludwig Borga will be in singles action against Marty Janetty. WWF Tag Team Champion Steiner Brothers will defend against the Heavenly Bodies. And at the end here, Mean Gene kind of puts over Bobby Heenan and then calls him the Weasel. And Heenan's like, oh, I can't believe I carry that guy. You can't talk to me like that. What do you think of the newly announced matches officially for SummerSlam, Austin?
Well, I was just going to ask you, Bob, what match are you looking most forward to?
Out of that list there?
Out of the list we have here. I already know which one you're going to say.
I'm going to go Bret Jerry.
Yeah, of course. I even though there really hasn't been much build lately, I'm going to go with Shawn Perfect.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And realistically, Michaels Perfect should probably be the show stealer.
Yeah, like the dark horse pick.
Why are you laughing?
Because I'm in the living room subject to my girlfriend being a fool in the background.
Damn it, Katie.
But no, I think for the dark horse pick, you got to go Shawn Perfect. I mean, even the segments that they have kind of been in have been good. Like, think of the outside attack and that sort of thing. I mean, it's been a couple weeks, but that's what I picture.
Couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The last time they've had any interaction that I can remember was May 17th.
No, it's been that long?
I think so. Doesn't he like slam Michaels onto the hood of the car like the same day or whatever?
Oh my God, that was in May?
Yeah, and then Perfect throws his gum at him and he loses the belt to Janetty.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Raw, they have not had any other interaction than that.
Or wait, no, doesn't Mr. Perfect throw the towel on Shawn?
Yeah, towel, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing that's bittersweet. Like, you know it's going to be a decent match, but the freaking story has been like barely anything.
Well, it started off wicked good.
I know.
And now it's been literally 2 months, and I mean, syndication, they might be cutting promos on each other, but you wouldn't know that if you're just watching Raw.
Right.
So, but no, yeah, for sure, for me, it's Bret and Jerry.
Yeah.
My most interesting match.
As far as the newly announced matches, fuck Borga versus Janetty. And I'm down for a Heavenly Bodies Steiners match, like I said last week. So
yeah, that'll be That should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Speaking of pretty good, we go backstage where we see Bastion Booger eating ice cream in a rather disgusting manner. By disgusting, I mean he's just eating it, but like shirtless in his tights, and it's just slobbering on it.
Yeah, and he's just like looking and smiling. If you didn't know better, you'd think he's a baby face. Like, oh, look at the silly fat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love ice cream. It's great.
Right, I'm fun.
Yeah. I'm lovable. You can cuddle me.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bastion Booger, that leads us to our third match of the evening. It's Marty Janetty against Bastion Booger. I'm not covering this one. Go ahead.
Damn
I'm doing nose goes.
Well, I lose. So after commercial, we're in the ring here, and Booger awaited his opponent. Marty was out next, looking in great shape and spirits, looking good. He had a nice little attire on, like ready to go. So I was glad to see Marty Janetty, and I still get excited to see him in matches here. And I can't believe I'm saying that, because before watching this with you, Bob, I always pictured Marty as the stereotypical, oh, he's the Marty Janetty to Sean. So I don't know. It's weird. It's funny to think that I'm a pretty big fan of him at this time.
I'm telling you, I would say I think Marty Janetty is still really pretty good for like another year or two.
Yeah. And it's just, and we go
and
back
there's
to
like a sudden nosedive.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think Marty could have cut it like Attitude Era.
No
way.
No,
like
well, I mean, he was in there. He wasn't in WWF, but he was in WCW around the time. He just didn't. He was not good.
Like a bottom feeder.
Yeah.
Yeah. But regardless, this time, 93, like I still get excited to see Marty Janetty. With that said, he was wearing Lex Luger sweatbands on his arms, just like every other face has been on this fucking show so far. All the ring girls, Marty Janetty, fucking, who was in the first match? Because they were wearing it too.
1, 2, 3 Kid and DiBiase.
I'm pretty sure 1, 2, 3 Kid had one on, at least.
I didn't even notice that.
I'm pretty sure. So it's just, now it's ridiculous to where other wrestlers have to promote Lex for him. Just what the fuck, man? What is going on here? Marty Janetty should not be worrying about Lex Luger. Regardless, we'll get into the action here. These two teased a test of strength to start the match, which is ridiculous because Marty Janetty is about half the size of Bastion Booger. Regardless, they locked fingers. Of course, Booger got the better of Marty until Marty slipped out and got Booger into the corner. They ran across to the opposite corner just for Marty to hit a nice little cross body on the big man. Marty then drop kicked Booger out and delivered a fish drop off the top rope to the outside on a standing Bastion Booger. I thought Bastion Booger was bumping around a lot for Marty Janetty here in the beginning, which was kind of weird because he's supposed to be the big, nasty, mean guy.
I don't know, man. I don't take Booger seriously.
Oh, I don't either. But like that's what they're trying to make him into.
Really? You think they're trying to make him like a big mean guy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
With his look and stuff.
Yeah, his look and everything, but I don't know if he acts like that. Like, he was just backstage eating ice cream.
In a very comical way.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Do you think Bam Bam Bigelow will be back there doing that?
Oh my God, I fucking hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. Yeah, I don't know. I think Bastion Booger sucks. But anyway.
He does.
Marty got back in the ring and again dived out onto Bastion Booger. And Marty then wrapped Booger's arm around the post a few times as we went into commercial break. Back from break, the two threw strikes on the outside. And I thought this match was really starting to go pretty long. I don't know why they were getting so much time here. As Booger slammed Marty on the outside and headed back in the ring to taunt. From there, we got Marty went into a sunset flip and couldn't quite pull the big man down. Booger then hit his little sit-down move where he puts his nuts on your face. But Marty turned it into a sunset flip to get the surprise 3 count. And I have it noted here that if Marty didn't win that match, I would have been fucking pissed.
Yeah, he had to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if it was anybody else, this match probably would have been pretty horrible. I think Marty made at least something out of it. He gave us a lot of good little spots, diving out of the ring and jumping off the top rope and just being Marty Janetty. I don't know if I liked the finish. At least it wasn't necessarily a screwed finish, but I don't think Marty needs a surprise victory. I think Marty can easily beat the Bastion Booger. I don't know, Bob. What do you think?
Well, I think he's just playing the underdog role.
Yeah.
Which I think fits him pretty well. You did say that you felt this match went pretty long. How long do you think it went, if you had to give me a time?
It felt like it went at least 8 minutes on air.
No.
How long?
It went just under 5.
Really?
About like 4:50 or something like that.
Wow. No, I feel like it felt very long.
Well, here's the thing. I say that because it went 4:50 and it's still got a commercial break.
Well, right. So it's probably roughly 2 minutes and 2 minutes.
Well, no, I'm saying like the whole match is 4 minutes.
Right.
So you have to incorporate like a 2-minute commercial. So, you're thinking, oh, hey, I went 6 minutes or whatever. Yeah. So I guess like live on TV it went like 4, but maybe the live audience saw 6.
Oof.
But for us, it was only 4.
I'm very surprised because it feels like it was about double that.
To me, it actually didn't drag that much for me.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't. But no surprise that Janetty won to me, especially considering he's on SummerSlam. It wouldn't make much sense for him to lose on Raw and then be like, "Oh, hey, I'm going to fight Ludwig Borga. I have a shot."
I would have been pissed if he lost.
Yeah, I would have too. Because Booger should not be like beating much of anyone,
regardless of even being in the company at this point.
Yeah. Like the only people he should be beating is like Virgil.
Right.
Right. He lost to. ICOPRO ad with Lex Luger. So we're back, baby.
Yeah.
Lex Luger's back. We come back to the ring, and Vince McMahon is in the ring. And he introduces Money Incorporated for an interview. McMahon says that they do not look like happy campers. And IRS calls the fans nothing but tax cheating morons. DiBiase hopes that Ramon was watching real close to what was happening to the 1-2-3 kid because, that's going to be Ramon. Fans are chanting 1-2-3, and McMahon doesn't think that Money Incorporated could even make it to SummerSlam since they have a cage match against the Steiner brothers. DiBiase says there isn't anybody that they can't buy. He says that when the Steiner brothers signed the contracts, they were bought and paid for. IRS assures us they will win the tag titles, and the Steiners will leave SummerSlam losers, just as they were when they entered the WWF. Now, I said SummerSlam because it sounded like he was going to say Summerland instead of SummerSlam.
Yeah, which is really weird because I think that was the second time in his promo that he kind of stumbled over his words.
He did it 2 or 3 times, yes.
Yeah, and it's really weird because usually IRS, when he's on the mic, it's short and sweet and it's pretty good.
Yep.
So I don't know what was going on here tonight, but that was definitely weird to me that he was getting discombobulated with his words. He was like pausing and either thinking of the words too quickly before he was saying them or switching up what he was going to say. I don't know what it was, but yeah, he stumbled over a couple words a couple times.
Yeah, I did notice that as well. DiBiase says that the Steiners have been cheating and got lucky each previous time. DiBiase laughs at the thought they don't know how to use a weapon like a steel cage. IRS chimes in at the end here and says that the big M on the Steiners jacket stands for morons. Now, this to me is essentially the same promo that we've heard from them regarding the Steiner brothers for almost 2 months now. So kind of a waste of time and didn't really add anything to the angle. It's just, I kind of took it as just filling space.
That, you know what? I was just going to say, it kind of felt like they had a free segment and said, oh, why not? Go ahead, go out there, guys, and go cut a promo. Because like we covered, it didn't seem like IRS really kind of knew what he was going to say. especially because he just kept resorting to using the phrase moron. That was like his buzzword tonight. Definitely felt like an on the fly, we need to fill time. Go ahead, guys. Go on out there and cut a little promo. Sort of felt like to me.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And if it's that, I mean, I'm looking forward to the steel cage match, but that like legitimately needs to be the feud ender and keep these guys away from each other for a while.
Yeah, it better be.
Yeah. From that segment, we go to our fourth contest of the evening, and it's Men on a Mission taking on Iron Mike Sharp and Barry Horowitz. Mo and Horowitz start off the match with Mo working over everyone's favorite Barry. Mabel leg drops Horowitz after a drop toe hold from Mo. Sharp tags in after Horowitz gets tossed across the ring. Men on a Mission deliver a double elbow drop on Sharp. Mabel splashes Sharp in the corner and then delivers a power slam. Mo comes off the top to help Mabel splash Sharp again, and that is good enough for a 3 count.
Yeah, and during the match here too, Vince says that they live in a nice little neighborhood and that there was nothing wrong with living in the hood concerning Men on a Mission. So I thought that was pretty notable on commentary. I also think that Mabel appears bigger than Yokozuna. And I don't know if it's the clothes he's wearing, but he really looks huge.
Well, here's the thing. I think he is bigger than Yokozuna. And I remember reading something where they build him as 495 pounds only because Yokozuna can be the only guy that's over 500.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you, I think visually he's taller and wider than
Yokozuna. He's for sure. Yeah, he's taller. Yeah, in both ways.
Right. I also hate Oscar the most out of all three. I find him the most annoying. I was rooting for Barry Horowitz and Mike Sharp. They have way more proven on Raw than these two guys. So I was rooting for them.
You were rooting for the enhancement guys?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like Men on a Mission. I feel like they're pandering to the urban audience.
That is the attempt. And especially with him saying there's nothing wrong with living in the hood.
I know. And I don't like that. Well, just the same way when they do like an Alberto Del Rio or a Rey Mysterio just to pander to the Latin American audience.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the audience loves their favorite wrestler because it's their favorite wrestler, not what their ethnicity is or their background. So when you try to highlight that and make that kind of the notable thing, it just feels really cheap and like desperate. Like, don't worry, there's somebody for you to like too. Look, it's okay to be from the hood. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like that. It just rubs me the wrong way. You could have easily had these two guys come in here as just two really jacked up heavyweight black dudes. Rather generic, but here to whoop some ass. And I think that would come off way better than Men on a Mission.
Now, it looks like we're in another situation where we disagree because I like Men on a Mission.
It's too stereotypical. I don't like it.
I like the whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
Then you're racist, Bob, okay?
I'm not racist if I like it. It'd be different if I was like, I hate them because they're from the hood.
No, but that's the only reason Vince wants you to like them.
Well, here's the thing. Do you think this is kind of the demographic that maybe McMahon's trying to go after now? Is like, I don't want to say poor,
but like young, urban, low
income families.
I don't know.
I feel like before it was like they're definitely going like middle class.
Well, and I think
or even a higher class too.
I think it's more or less a pop culture thing Because if you think about 93, you think about like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and you think about Biggie and Tupac, and you think about, you know what I mean?
Steve Urkel and Family Matters.
No.
Oh.
You think about kind of the urban hip hop movement in 93. It's in
You're
like
telling me, have
swing.
you not seen the episode of Family Matters when like Urkel's cool?
I don't like that show.
Oh, so now you're racist.
No, you're racist. You like when the black people dance.
What?
You're racist, Bob.
I don't know if you know what racism means, man.
You get a kick out of the black people dancing.
I'm not one of those white guys where it's like, oh, look at the black people dancing. They're so cool. Oh, that's cute. No, I like Man on a Mission. I think Mabel's talented of the trio.
I don't like any of them. I don't know why. It's the gimmick. I don't like the
it's
gimmick.
Gotta be, yeah.
It's the gimmick. Because
if you take Oscar out of it,
yes,
that probably would help.
You take Oscar out of it and you let Mabel and Mo do something way more like badass. Like I said, 2 big black guys whooping people's ass. That's cool. Put them in all black, even if it's generic outfits, and let them just come out and beat people up, and Mabel drop huge leg drops and stuff. Yeah, I'm into that.
So like the Nation of Domination?
No. Leave race out of it, Bob.
Oh, right. Okay. Up next is one of, if not probably Austin's favorite segment that we've ever come across. And it's, who is Lex Luger?
And ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the most notable installment of this segment. Before we get to there, after the finish here with our Men in the Mission match, Savage made another mention of his big surprise tonight, and Bobby said he knew exactly what it was. Tonight, Savage is going to retire. Vince laughs. And it wasn't just a condescending laugh. It was a little too much of a laugh.
It was like the laugh of like, he's been retired for 8 months.
Because I made him.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't like that. As far as the finish for the match, really quick too, the way Mo like bulldogged Mabel down onto Mike Sharp for the finish, I thought looked like his partner did a move on him.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be that the guy got pinned under Mabel and they won. It was really weird. I didn't like it. I didn't like the finish. Moving on to our coveted segment here. Who is Lex Luger? Well, he tells you, because today his first topic is drugs in sports. As soon as I saw that come up on the screen, I was like, now we're fucking talking. Now we're going to hear some shit. So we go into this. Lex says that there was always temptations there throughout his football career and even getting into wrestling. And that maturity, he felt, never really caught up with his checkbook as he was going through life. So, in other words, he might have made some bad decisions. All right, that's what he says. And he's
saying that he wouldn't put money in his savings account. Go ahead.
It probably didn't. Yeah. And as he's talking about this stuff, oppositely from all the other segments, now he's looking the camera directly into the lens. So it's a little bit, there's a different tone here. He also says that, during school and during his college career, he says that he has experienced drugs, but he worked through it. And then Vince, audibly off camera, then directly asks Luger if he was on anabolic steroids, to which Luger said emphatically no. If that wasn't bad enough, they continue the topic of anabolic steroids. And Luger says that the topic's a real hot button with him, especially with all the pressures in his current spot. He says that before becoming illegal, anabolic steroids were very prevalent in professional sports, but not here and not now in the WWF. Now they have no presence. He said, to be completely frank, before steroids became illegal, he was a steroid user. Again, looking directly in the camera as he's saying this. But don't fret. He says that now he knows he doesn't need to take shortcuts. He now knows that he can look, train, and feel right without the use of steroids. He says that he's especially proud of the fact that he could be a role model with a great physique without using anabolic steroids. The segment ends there. Now, if Lex is really trying to tell me right now that he's not taking anabolic steroids, fucking show me what you're doing to have the most ridiculous Roman god body I've ever seen. Yeah. That is no way in any shape or form natural or workout induced, solely diet. There is no natural explanation for his physique. And yet, right from Lex's lips, emphatically, no, I don't currently use steroids. Are you shitting me? He's the fucking poster boy of using steroids in 1993. Poster boy. And I'm sorry to say, but most of the guys who look like Lex, or you've probably seen on TV, fucking use them. And that includes fucking Lex Luger. I think Vince was on steroids. Let alone Mr. Body, Lex Luger. That ain't a diet. That ain't lifting a dumbbell in the gym. That's fucking steroids in your ass cheek meat. On at least a weekly basis, if not more than that. Could not believe that. I didn't expect him to admit that he was currently using it. And at least he admitted to using them in the past. But for him to say that now emphatically, no, he doesn't use them. Are you fucking kidding me? Have you seen his body in the ICOPOD fucking promos? You're telling me if I went to the gym every day for 2 hours and ate right, that I'd look like Lex Luger? Get the fuck out of here. Bullshit. Ruined everything. This took my openness and my slight interest and flushed it down the toilet and broke the pipe and broke the seat off the toilet and threw it in a junkyard. It's all bullshit. It's all lies. And now you can see right through them.
I'm thrilled that you hate him now.
It was disgustingly bad. Disgustingly bad.
Well, the thing is that he does give himself an out. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but
like that they were legal at one point?
No, there's not that. He says that if you I think he says at one point, if you responsibly take supplements, that it helps, like a legal supplement. So he's giving himself that leeway already, saying that maybe I'm not taking steroids, but I'm taking something that's going to help me get there, but safely and legally with supplements.
No,
which would be ICOPRO, by the way. I want to point that out right now. ICOPRO would be a supplement to help with these guys' body. So
Lex Luger's taking steroids.
There's no doubt in my mind. There's no
He
doubt.
can try and sell me on fucking ICOPRO all he wants. He's got a needle in his ass.
I would
probably
have to think
under the chair that he's sitting in as he's giving this interview.
I would have to think so.
So fuck that. He's a lying prick.
Yeah. I would take it when it was legal. So you would take it when it's legal, and your body looks the same, if not even more ridiculously jacked.
Right. Well, because when were steroids, quote unquote, declared illegal in sports?
I can look it up. Like I did last week with stuff. When was
anabolic steroids
banned
in sports?
1990.
So let's put Lex Luger 1990 in WCW up against 93 in WWF. There's a drastic difference in physique.
I'm looking up Lex Luger in 1990.
There's a drastic difference in physique.
So you look at that,
he looks relatively normal if being wicked jacked and in good shape was normal. You put him in the ICOPRO promo, the video.
Bro, he is way jacked up in 93.
Fucking gassed to the...
His pecs are overinflated.
Well, that's the thing. It's his whole body is juiced.
Yeah.
It's blasphemous to even make those claims. Like you said, if anything, he uses them more now than he did when they were legal.
Yeah, there's no doubt. See, with Hogan, when Hogan came back, and even in 93, you could tell he was smaller.
He was probably off the gas,
so he was
or at least taking less.
Right. Randy Savage, off the gas for sure.
Yes.
Lex Luger is not off the gas.
He's fucking foot down on the gas pedal on the gas.
Yeah. And another thing that really kind of annoyed me is that, they're really trying to drive home this whole, next Hulk Hogan thing. He even says, if you train hard,
yeah,
eat right,
yeah,
do the proper things when you look, you do the proper things and you can look good anyway.
Right.
It's the same thing that fucking Hogan would say.
Right.
If you train hard, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. The same fucking bullshit.
Right.
It's no, man, you're a knockoff. I'm not buying into this.
I couldn't believe he bold-faced lied like that.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
Maybe he was wondering if they meant right this second. Are you on anabolic steroids? And he was probably no. I take it later this evening.
I don't know what his explanation is, but I can't imagine that anybody in their mature frame of mind could believe what Lex is saying at this point.
Yeah.
How can you? How can you?
I know I wouldn't.
You can't. You can't take that seriously. There's no way that he's trying to claim his body is natural. For the last 3 years, he hasn't put any illegal steroid in his body, but looks twice as big as he did when he was supposedly, quote unquote, using them.
Right, because if you come off of steroids, your body is going to become smaller. I mean, you can maintain some level of them, muscle.
Yeah, but you start to deflate quick.
Right. Because you need to do it consistently. I remember reading a baseball book, Jose Canseco's. He's you have to take it every 2 weeks.
Right.
To do that stuff.
Right.
So it's not like hasn't done it in 3 years. He's for sure still juicing it. And when HGH becomes a thing, you can tell when everybody's back on the juice again. Like Savage, for instance.
Right.
You can tell when everyone fucking gets back on it. Hogan, everybody.
I think if Luger had stopped in 1990 taking steroids, he probably would have had the body of
1, 2, 3 kid.
No. And I don't want to say quite as drastically as like a Rick Martel.
He could have a body like Razor Ramon.
No, Razor's in really good shape, and he's a big jacked dude.
Well, you think Ramon was juicing it? I mean, Ramon at one point did.
I think at one point he was. I don't think in 93 he was, though. Well, you know what?
He might
Yeah,
have.
he probably was. He probably was.
He might have been.
Luger was taking it to the extreme, though.
There's no doubt about it.
To where Razor might have only done it like once a month or something like that.
Yeah.
Luger was taking it every 2 weeks, at least, if not every week. Fucking gas to the gills, going ham in the gym, getting as big as he fucking could.
Yeah.
No, but I think 3 years straight of Luger not using steroids, 1990 all the way to 93.
But he's still working out.
Still working out. He'd probably have the body of like a Shawn Michaels. Realistically.
Yeah, see, but I don't know, man. Like Michaels is kind of just a plain body.
Yeah, I think Luger would have been too. Look at how frail he is now.
I know, but like visually, like that would have been weird to see that. Like being so accustomed to Lex Luger being jacked.
Well, in WCW in 90, I mean, he was in decent shape, but he wasn't a balloon animal.
No, he was in way better shape than Shawn Michaels in 1990.
Well, remember, he admitted to using steroids in 1990.
That's what I'm saying. So it's going to be a weird transition to see him like Shawn Michaels level, body-wise.
Right. Well, supposedly, if he's off the gas all 3 of those years.
No, I know. But that's why I think that's proving the point of why he might have been taking steroids, because he didn't want to look like that. He had a certain image.
Right.
So it just would have been weird. Maybe, you know what? Thanks, Lex. Thanks for taking steroids. It's fine.
I mean, it definitely was better for his career.
Well, yeah. I don't think there's been
his body, I think, got him as far as it did.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because it wasn't his moves or his fucking charisma.
Or his selling.
It was his look.
Yes.
So, I mean, I guess in that sense it was better for him, but now he's a fucking frail old man. So
Thanks for the memories, Lex. Well, I know you have made it pretty clear that you fucking hated it, and I'm just gonna sit here and say I told you so.
Hated it, and it's I can't believe how much of a far cry it is, even from the Intrepid. Like that Lex Luger, I thought was cool and had potential, even as a face, and even if it didn't make sense, I thought it had potential. The direction they're going in, fuck that, man.
So I remember when after he did the Intrepid, I was like, oh, they're going to keep him off television. And they have in terms of like wrestling. There was the contract signing of these interviews.
Right.
So if they had not done these sit-down interviews, do you think you would still be, oh my God, fuck yeah, let's go Luger?
Probably. Even though I did like the first 2 sit-down segments they did. Probably just because now it's almost to the point where he's been overexposed.
Yeah.
And now they've shown you every plot hole that he has to him. There's no more guessing. You know exactly what you're going to get. You know the direction they're going in. You're getting a lot of vanilla, and that's what it is.
I would imagine they did that by design, though. Like, got ahead of the game. Like, yeah, he took steroids. Yeah, he'd never played for the Green Bay Packers. You know, all this stuff.
Yeah, but leave that out of it. It's not helping. That doesn't help you.
Yeah. But I mean, I think they may have done that because, you know, when Hogan lied on the Arsenio Hall show, like, everybody shredded into it and fucking killed their PR.
Right.
So if you just get ahead of the game and he's just like, yeah, I used it when it was legal. Now I don't. Yeah, I used to do drugs in college in Miami or whatever. Now I don't. Like, I'm past that phase. I'm a role model. They're kind of getting ahead of the game because I don't think there can be many people who are like, oh, he said he did it.
Right.
Let's fucking crucify him. Now it's like, oh, well, he said he did. All right. Well, there's nothing to really report here.
I don't know. I think it's bringing it up when you don't necessarily need to. I've always been under the assumption that, especially for like a wrestler, don't cross that bridge till you need to.
You know what? Here's I think a great comparison for what I'm trying to get at here. if a celebrity comes out and says that they're gay, it's almost forgotten about the next day.
Right.
However, if it's revealed that a celebrity is gay or an athlete is gay,
it's like a scandal.
It blows up.
Right.
Like Tiger Woods when he cheated on his wife. If he were to come out and say, "Yeah, I had an affair with a porn star," or whatever, it probably would have been in the news for a couple of days. But then it'd be like, okay, there's nothing to report here. But since it was like this porn star came out and said, "I slept with Tiger Woods," and all these messages, it was in the news for like a month.
Right. And it ruined his career.
And I think that is what they're doing here. It'll be in the news for Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, but it's not going to be here come SummerSlam. People will forget about it by SummerSlam.
I guess so.
I think that's what they're trying to do.
I guess so. I don't know if it works quite as well in wrestling.
No, I don't know, because it's a fictional world.
Right. And you're just you're already associating this guy with that.
Yeah.
You use them words and you make reference to it. I think now people are going to associate him with that.
I'm taking out of this that I like Bret Hart even more now, because I would never sit there and be like, yeah, Bret's juicing it. Like, Bret Hart's a fighter. He's going to go underdog, like come out from underneath, does it the right way. He's going to give it his all. Doesn't have he's got a good body, but he doesn't have like a Lex Luger body.
I think Bret dabbled probably in the 80s a little bit.
I mean, everybody did.
Right.
Everybody.
By I would say 1990, he probably wasn't.
Well, you can tell in the 80s at a certain point when he was with the Hart Foundation that he was bloated.
He was bloated. Right.
Yeah. Right. There was no doubt.
Right. I think Bret did get back on him though for a little while.
You think so?
I think he did. I think once.
You think WCW, Bret?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when he first got there, he was looking a little bulky again.
I think I vaguely remember when he was feuding with DDP, he was looking a little thicker.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that might be.
I think.
But you know what? I think ironically, he got hurt quite a bit in '98.
Right.
I think he pulled his groin or something with Malenko, though Malenko was kind of reckless at the time.
Right.
But
I don't know.
Be interesting there.
I don't know. And I don't know about Shawn either. I think there was another point with him where he got into it. For sure.
Well, the thing, I guess we'll just kind of.
We'll get there.
We'll just get there then. Well, let's not talk about it right now. We'll get there with that.
Yeah.
Needless to say, who is Lex Luger? He's a fucking fraud, and we don't like him.
He's a liar.
He's a liar. He's a fraud. He's just telling you what you want us to hear. That's all he is.
Right.
Trying to spin it positively, and it's not working.
Yeah.
Coming out of that segment, we have our main event, and it's Bam Bam Bigelow against Rich Myers.
Yeah.
Starts off with Bigelow driving Myers down on the mat with a back suplex. He continues to stomp on Myers and sends him across the ring, hitting a splash in the corner. Heenan, on commentary, is talking about how he likes a good vein on a woman's scalp in reference to Luna Vachon.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
He's like, yeah. He's like, man, this a women's vein, a women's scalp. I just love it. I dig it. And McMahon's like, what? He's like, yeah. You don't like a nice vein on a woman's scalp? Like, no. Just a weird conversation. Also on commentary, Savage is still teasing his surprise.
Yeah.
No wait for that. Bigelow just casually drops Myers with a vertical suplex, and then he wins the match following a top rope diving headbutt. I mean, it's just a squash match. Nothing really going on. Just basic stuff from Bigelow, really.
Yeah, and you know what? The only thing I kind of made note of as far as this match and kind of things surrounding it, Luna really came off as more Bam Bam's valet in this match. She was very handsy. She was rubbing him in the beginning. They hugged after the match.
It was before he had mentioned that he was in love with her, but they didn't really have any physical interaction.
Right. They didn't really. She was more or less just like a ringside companion.
Right.
Now she feels like a valet. She's even got a different jacket on. She's wearing more revealing clothes. Like I said, kind of rubbing on him a little bit, hugging him after the match. So I think they're changing the dynamic up a little bit between the two. Not that I mind. I think it, again, makes a lot of sense. I think they're perfect for each other on camera. But yes, basic squash match here. I thought the guy bumped around pretty good for Bigelow. Yeah, I you know what? To be fair, I did hear a boring chant during this.
I mean, it wouldn't be an overreaction. I mean, it was kind of boring.
Yeah. So it was what it was. It was a squash match. Nothing overly spectacular. Like, oh my God, he whooped the guy's ass. It was more or less move, finish, pin.
Yeah.
So
basic stuff. We got a Slim Jim ad with Randy Savage, and we also get the WWF Royal Rumble video game ad. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Randy Savage's surprise. Now you're probably waiting in anticipation. Like, who could it be? Is it Crush? Is Crush back? Maybe it's Hulk Hogan.
Is Randy going to be full-time wrestling again?
Yeah, maybe he's like, I'm going to make it a triple threat because I know Luger's a liar. Or is it Ultimate Warrior? Maybe Ultimate Warrior's back. Who knows? Well, it's the Macho Midget. He comes out with several women. He just walks around. Savage is like, oh, yeah. Dig it. That's the surprise.
What the fuck?
Macho Midget. It's just awful. I mean, come on, man. You cannot
kiss my ass with that.
For real. This is a surprise. Okay, I can't wait. I'll wait an hour. Okay, who is it? Is it Hogan? Is he back? Mega Power? Anybody? Macho fucking Midget.
He hyped it up.
I thought it was gonna be like, it could have been like a new wrestler.
Like he hyped it up the whole show.
Yeah.
Big surprise.
Like every match was like, oh my freaking surprise.
We get a 30-second segment where the Macho Midget is parading around the ring cue card girls.
Yeah.
In the ring, waving to the crowd. That was his big surprise. That was Savage's big surprise. Savage, kiss my ass for that.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
You fucking shitting me. Come on.
There's no way that he was like, oh, this is a good idea.
It's like Luger. The past couple of weeks, good, solid, funny little video hypes. And then he fucking comes out for the contract signing. And then does this, who is Lex Luger, this last installment.
Yeah.
And it was like, are you shitting me? This is what it is? Fuck that.
Yeah,
don't do that shit, Macho Man. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I thought Macho Midget was just going to be like just that one time.
A one-time appearance like it should have been instead of a circus act.
Yeah. We thought wrong.
Stupid. Fucking stupid. I want Macho Man to beat up the Macho Midget.
Just a sudden heel turn?
Yeah. Like
why do you look like me?
You're stealing my look, man. I don't really like it.
Are you the one that took Elizabeth?
The lust is in your eyes, man.
There you go. Oh, boy. We go back to the commentary team where Vince McMahon promotes the SummerSlam Spectacular. Shawn Michaels will defend the WWF Intercontinental Championship against Bob Backlund.
Fucking A. It's getting worse and worse.
Man, hey, Bob Backlund, never know. He could pull it off and win it. Bob Backlund versus Mr. Perfect. That could be a fucking barn burner.
I'd rather see Shawn defended against the Macho Midget.
That would be comical. Because he would try for the super kick, but then Macho's too short, so he'll miss every time.
He'll just hit the hat.
Right. He'll lose with a roll up.
Oh, my God.
The Undertaker will be interviewed on the show. So he'll basically probably just say, rest in peace. And then Paul Bearer will be like, oh, yeah. Okay. Tag title, steel cage match when the Steiner brothers defend against Money Incorporated. And WWF World Champion Yokozuna takes on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And that wraps up the August 16th edition of Raw. Now, my final thoughts right here, I'm just going to keep it very simple. This sucked. And it was, I mean, I swear to God, it just felt like a filler week of television. Like, oh my God, we got 2 weeks left of TV for SummerSlam. Like, what the fuck do we put out? Okay, here. Just fill the 45 minutes. That's what it was. I mean, aside from the Lex Luger, like, who is Lex Luger debacle? And what, Ted DiBiase? Like, what else is there? Like, nothing. Right? I mean, I don't think am I forgetting something? I don't.
And do you like how this week we went like abruptly off air? There was no closing. There was no little graphic. They finished up with like the card for the SummerSlam Spectacular of what they have announced. And then it just kind of pans to the crowd and it goes off air. Right. It was really weird. I put it back on just to make sure my internet didn't like skip something or like skip the closing. Oh no, that was it. We just went off air.
They ran out of time. And maybe I'm undercutting Janetty Booger because that was obviously a classic.
Oh, of course. Yeah, WrestleMania moment on Raw.
Yeah.
I thought it was better than last week by a very, very slim margin. The opening match obviously was better than last week.
Yeah, head shrinker squash too, I guess.
The head shrinker squash was pretty decent. Pretty impressive. We didn't have to sit through a Macho Midget Bushwhackers match.
Oh.
Bigelow in action. Again, decent little squash match. Could have been worse. It's, you know what it is, though? The Lex stuff taking such a drastic turn for me in the last 2 weeks. I'm scared for the future. I'm not looking forward to the future. I'm going to wait till I see him in the ring to kind of make my nail in the coffin decision on him. Then see if anything's different, which I doubt it's going to be. Not a good week of wrestling. Like Bob said, even down to some of the segments literally look like they were just pushed out there. Okay, go do something. The Ted DiBiase Money Inc. interview. Just a couple different things. And it blows my mind how after a pay-per-view, they can put out like 2 or 3 really solid shows, and then you get nothing for the next month and a half until the next pay-per-view. They build the story in the first 2 weeks, and then you get fucking watered down shit for the next 5 until
literally every time. Yeah.
Every time. There's no continuation. Like they're not like long-term booking at all. It's just a week by week. They let the flames get weaker and weaker until the pay-per-view hits. They spark it. It burns for another week or two, and then it starts to dim out again. That's just how it is. And it's so frustrating because they have the talent at this point to put on dynamite 45-minute shows. We saw it not that long ago with the Razor Ramon upset with 1-2-3 Kid. That entire Raw was hit after hit after hit, and it was like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is a great wrestling show. It's there. They're just not doing it. So it's frustrating. It is. And I mean, don't get me wrong. We've progressed a lot since January of 93. I think it's a better show now than it was in January of 93. But it should be much farther along, I think, at this point.
No, I think you're right.
They're dragging their heels, basically.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, with the talent they have, the show should be really great, but then they're having like Bushwhackers and Bastion Booger on it.
Right.
I would have thought at one point, or at some point here, like you could do Mr. Perfect against Shawn Michaels on TV, just to advance it.
Yeah, add some heat. There's no. Yeah. It's like I said, it's like a cold. Like the flame has nearly burned out.
Right. Like you would have thought that they maybe With this style of booking, maybe they should have just done Perfect Michaels at King of the Ring.
You could have.
Yeah.
You definitely could have. And like you said, I guess I didn't even realize how long it's been since they even had an interaction that we've seen.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good match, and that carries you through. But that's shitty. That's the only thing carrying you through. They're relying on that. And I don't think you can solely rely on a match. Just like, to kind of go off in a tangent here, that's one of my kind of gripes with indie booking. They just go on the fact that hopefully you'll buy a ticket because you think there's going to be a good matchup. They don't have to do it's like lazy.
I've been saying that for fucking years.
It's laziness.
I hate that stuff, man. No, you're right. Because I don't know. I mean, there's obviously some independent promotions that will do storylines and stuff like that. But like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, it's really some really good stuff there in terms of in-ring, but there's no story.
Yeah, what's the story?
There's none. It's just there's no story. And one thing that always used to bug me, especially when 2CW here in Syracuse would run, was when they would bring in the big name and the big name would win over the homegrown talent.
Right.
To me, you would want the homegrown talent to win.
To make something out of him.
Right. So that the draw would turn into the homegrown talent.
Right.
You can expand from there, but maybe I'm flawed in thinking like that. But no, what makes a crowd reaction, what draws a crowd in is a story. Look at, Hogan Andre, WrestleMania 3. There's a story there. Austin Rock, WrestleMania 17.
Right.
There's a story there.
Historically, all the matches that have made money, big money, all the feuds that have made big money, it's not because they were a dream match. It's because the story leading up to it was what put butts in seats.
Rock Cena made a boatload of money, and then they didn't even talk for like a year.
Well, that's because you can force feed anything down a friggin' crowd's throat now.
Right. Well, I'm just saying. That would be like a dream match, I guess.
Well, even look at Hogan Rock. There was a story there.
Yeah, well, that had a story, yeah.
And that was a big money maker.
Mm-hmm.
I think historically, more times than not, there was major angles and stories built into some of the greatest matches and money-making matches of all time.
Yeah, and the stories would usually be much more than, the Roman Reigns hasn't beaten Brock Lesnar in 3 tries, so here's number 4.
Right. Can he do it this time?
There'd be much more depth.
Right.
To the storyline.
Right. It's not just, here's the tip of the iceberg. Let that hold you over. Yeah. You get everything fleshed out, and then it would deliver. And usually, it's funny to think about, but the match was almost an afterthought. Like, once you got there, that was the easy part. It was getting there that mattered. It's the moments that you remember. You don't remember the match between Jake the Snake Roberts and Randy Savage leading up to this Tuesday in Texas, but you remember the snake biting his arm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just that's one example of 10,000 where the moments make the feuds that make the money, where I think the focus should be on. That's what people care about.
Like when Papa Shango made Ultimate Warrior vomit.
Right. Do you remember their match?
No.
Do you remember that moment? Yes.
Of course. It happened in Syracuse.
Well, there you go. That's what I mean. I feel like, and I don't know, maybe it's a shift or a transition in the business in 93, but there's no focus. There's really a very little focus on stories. And they get back to stories. They do. Once kind of the mid 90s roll back around, they get back to that. But
they really do.
I don't know. Right now, they're just letting the matchups kind of guide them and hoping that people buy a ticket. I
think for WWF, the best thing that ever happened to them was that they had a pay-per-view every month.
Well, because then it forced them to short-term book.
Right. Like they couldn't afford to be like, don't worry, we have 4 months before our next big event.
Right. We'll figure it out as we go. No, this is what's happening in the next couple of weeks, and then the pay-per-view's here. And then we have to follow it up after the pay-per-view, and then the next one will be here.
Right.
It just fits them better. Long-term booking in the WWF doesn't work.
I mean, yeah, it works in like Smoky Mountain or USWA
Right.
or whatever, but
Right.
not in WWF. So thank you, Eric Bischoff.
There's just too much programming to put out.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. It's like Smoky Mountain and USWA, they have like one TV show.
Exactly.
And the rest of it's all.
Even in the 80s, you could do long-term booking because there wasn't 80 hours of television scheduled every week. You know.
You're right.
I don't know. It's just, it sucks. And it sucks that this era kind of suffered from that. But it definitely does. It definitely does.
Well, all I know is I'm proud of us for surviving last week and this week.
Oof.
So we are through with the Raw build-up to SummerSlam.
Yep. We're on our way.
Of course, we watch 2 shows at a time. So our first show, we'll watch both of them this week, and then we'll talk about them the next time we sit down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they are 2 pretty big shows, arguably maybe the 2 biggest back-to-back shows.
Yeah.
That we'll be checking out.
I'm looking forward to the SummerSlam Spectacular. I have hopes.
Yep. I would, like I said before, SummerSlam 93 is feeling like what should have been WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool. And I think when we get done with the SummerSlam Spectacular, we'll probably do maybe more of a deep dive into the SummerSlam 93 card.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of what's announced. Maybe this is where they should go.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Right.
So it would be pretty interesting. And then, of course, when we talk about SummerSlam 93, we'll talk about maybe some of the booking decisions and maybe where they should go in the future as we head towards Survivor Series 93 and then the eventual build towards WrestleMania 10.
Yes.
As we get closer to getting into 94. But as we do that, you can also send us what you are thinking for 93 and maybe where you think they should go heading into 94 by sending any type of feedback to ICOPOD on Facebook. Just type in ICOPOD, send us a message there, or at ICOPodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get all your thoughts on the air. You can check out the freaking awesome network, their forums. A lot of people there communicate with us about various things.
A lot of old school fans that were there around the times.
Yeah. A lot of people have shared their well, when I was like 11, Mike Campbell too was done, and when he's like, I was 13 at the time.
Right.
That's stuff that I like to hear about. So
me too.
Their perspective.
Yep.
You got anything else for this episode 34?
We need to hop on the Lex Express and get the hell out of here as fast as we can.
I might be in front of you in that car trying to run you off the road, brother.
Get us out of here, Bob.
All right. For Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Collins Jr., and this has been ICOPOD.
You gotta hear it.